welcome to an episode I like to call Beer Walk. You've got coffee walks. It's like, well, what's more fun than a coffee walk? It's a beer walk. Or apple juice, for those of you who need to know that. Apple juice walk just doesn't seem to have the same. Okay, we're getting off track here with naming. I just kind of figured we're just going to take a few minutes, a short amount of time together, just to kind of wander around the shop and talk about a few things that you see in the background all the time, but we never talk about. Maybe you have questions. Well, don't ask them, because I'm not listening. I'll tell you what I want to tell you, okay? But you can ask questions all you want, I'm not telling you what to say and what not to say. It's free speech. You can say what you want. I can choose to listen, or I can choose to not. Okay, we're getting way off track here. So, let's start in on the apple beer juice. And let me show you around a bit. Okay, my wife just left, and that's why I only have half a beer now, because she drank the other half. We're chatting because of the wonderful husband that I am. I say, hey, have some of my beer. I just poured it for a beer walk, and she took me up on it. She sure did. So, it's okay though. There's always more. All right, so we're calling this a beer walk, but this walk doesn't have much to do with beer at this point. I guess I'll carry it with me because, that's what you do on a beer walk. Let's actually start with Dusty here. This truck is named Dusty because it was a barn find, literally. That gets thrown around a bit and joked a bit about, and sometimes it's true. Sometimes the things that you joke about because it's overused, well, it was true at one point, and sometimes it still is, as is the case with this truck. So, I had bought a 78 Bronco from a guy, and his dad had this, and asked me if I was interested in buying it. He'd had some offers on it and whatnot, but we had kind of struck up a conversation, a little friendship, and he knows what I do and asked me if I wanted it. Of course, now, he asked me this over the phone. I had never seen the truck. I didn't know anything about it. He just said that this is an 80-year-old man. He said, my grandpa, the 80-year-old man's grandpa, my grandpa had a farm in Wisconsin, and he bought this truck new. He said, when I was 9 years old, I learned to drive in it, and it's been in the family for its whole life. Of course, a story like that, I immediately on the phone said, yes, I am interested in buying it. I hadn't even seen it. He sent me a picture of it. Here, this picture of it, it was in his building, covered in stuff. This is the picture I saw. And again, I said yes. So I put it on the trailer and brought it home. He told me some more of the story of the truck. It was just amazing. In fact, if you want more of the story, go on carsarepeople2.com. Dusty, look up Dusty, and I wrote the story down there. So I stripped out. So this is a 1936 Dodge pickup. It's been a farm truck its whole life. You know, it's got cow dents. These straps have been welded on because the inner fender supports, well, this side doesn't even have it. Let's look at the other side. There's one. That's the factory support. Well, the weld kept breaking, so at some point on the farm, they welded these straps to keep these fenders from flapping in and out as you drive down the road. You can see the farmer welds in different places to just kind of, well, the fender started cracking. You know, this is an old truck. There's another cow dent. Yeah, amazing. I love this truck. Just love it so much. This is the engine and transmission out of it. Unfortunately, the engine is seized up. Like seized up. But what I had on my mind was I want this truck to be seen. I want it to be able to drive on the road in a safe manner, which means that 53 horsepower and 3-speed manual, it's not going to do the trick. It can't get out of its own way. It was made in a different era. It's more tractor technology than truck technology. The fun thing about these is the sedans of the same era, exact same front ends, they just basically, I guess you could say this is kind of the first El Camino, except that, you know, the bed in the truck is separate. So technically it's a truck, but you know, it's based on kind of car architecture. So I pulled the engine out. I have boxed the frame because it's not very strong. You know, I mean, it's old. So I boxed it. Basically, it's a C channel, and I just closed up the one end in preparation to install a different drivetrain in it, one that can be driven on the highway. In fact, I'm trying to do this truck as inexpensively as possible. So I had kind of restored a '69 Corvette. This engine came out of it. It's got the double hump heads on it. It's a Chevy 350. And I know it's not a Dodge engine, but look at this as version 1 of the truck. I really want to get it running. It sat for 40, 45, 50 years in this guy's shop. Not interested in it sitting another 50 years while I wait to fully restore it and put it back to original. Not happening. I'm going to put an engine and transmission in it, put a rear end in it, put seat belts in it, seats, rudimentary gauges, and brakes, and try to drive it. That's the goal. That's version 1. It's more roadkill style. I'm not doing anything with the body other than like structurally. Like it's got some rust in the cab corners, and the cab is just a little, it needs more support. So I won't do anything on the outside that you can see, but up underneath I'll make it safe, and so the cab doesn't want to fall off the truck while I'm driving it. That wouldn't be good. Different things like that. That's my goal. I worked on it a little last winter. I really want to work on it this winter too. See how far we can get. I gutted the interior on it because mice had been living in it. The headliner was sagging way down, and it was just full of, it was a hotel. But when I took the door panel off, see that K green? That was under the door card. And the door card that was on it was an original door card. So I don't know if that K green was a factory worker, whatever, but that door card hadn't been removed. That signature was there. I think that's super cool. I want to retain it. But you can see some daylight down here. So I want to do things on the inside to get this cab firmed up and squared up structurally. Yeah, this is going to be a great project. So hopefully you'll see that because it's something that I want to do. Ella, you know about Ella. We're waiting on the engine for Ella. You know about Mr. F. You might be interested to, well, I've never told anyone this, really. Probably because it's not, could be offensive to some, but I don't care because I pulled it from a TV show. I don't know if you've ever seen Arrested Development. There was an episode and it had, what's her name? Anyway, this actress, she's from South Africa. Can't remember her name. Anyway, she played a mentally retarded functioning person that one of the characters in the show thought that she wasn't and was trying to date her, and she had a bracelet on that said MRF. And he was trying to figure out the whole time who Mr. F was when it actually stood for mentally retarded female. So that tickled my funny bone. And thus Mr. F. It's not really Mr. F, it's MRF. And currently, Mr. F is, I don't know, frustratingly dead. Garage art, really, right now. Brought it to a friend of mine who has a shop, and we got it running, but it's got a bad engine noise. I gotta pull the filter, see if there's anything in the oil that shouldn't be. I've got to do some things, but between you and me, I've been mightily discouraged. Yeah, I don't understand. It's running perfectly in the Mustang. I put it in this car, I get 13 miles down the road and it's dead. It makes zero sense to me. So, and making a noise that it shouldn't be making. I don't understand what's happening. It's just bad luck, I guess. But we'll get back to it. It's just kind of the way. This you'll see next week, or you'll be introduced to that next week. The Centurion you'll be updated on next week as well. I bet you've seen these Honda Trails in the background. These are actually my best friend's. He lives in Texas. Excuse me while I take a sip. And he has a lot of motorcycles. And he asked me if I just wanted to kind of store these for him, i.e. use them, store them. And I haven't had them out this year. I really need to. So that says Honda Trail 70, but actually that is a Lifen 140 engine on it. This is a 70. These are remanufactured or manufactured engines to fit these Hondas when your Honda engine is, not Honda-ing anymore. So his dad bought these years and years and years ago, used to buy a bunch of them, and he rode them a bunch as a kid, and they're kind of fun. They're just kind of a throwback. Maybe they need a little air in the tires, probably front shocks, whatever. But I might try to get these running this year and put them around a little bit. Maybe I'll bring you in on that. Might be kind of fun. Oh, of course, you know, Mr. E, waiting on parts still. Yeah, but still kind of working on him. Hey, it's got 4 wheels. It's a Skyjack. I bought this when I bought the shop because high ceilings, and I'm not a ladder guy. I don't like ladders. I don't even like Skyjacks. I don't like being high up in the air. But being on a platform high up in the air and being able to fix lights and stuff, I found that at auction somewhere, got a good deal on it, and yeah, you need it when you need it. So, I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I bought it a couple years ago. I was buying firewood from a guy, and he was using this with a little trailer behind it to bring firewood out of the woods. And it's just in a rural neighborhood. And he had mentioned to me that he was going to sell this when he was done getting rid of all his wood. And I expressed interest in, yeah, well, if you're selling it, call me up. I'd be interested. I just noticed it was in good shape, and I was kind of looking for a workhorse type 4-wheeler, kind of a tractor type, you know, had some grunt and could do things 4-wheel drive, and I need something to plow my driveway if the snow's not too deep, and pull a trailer around the property to pick up sticks, and you know, that type of thing. Side-by-sides have gotten so expensive, like as much as a car. It's retarded. And with the trailer and this, you know, yeah, it seemed like a good route to go. So he did call me. I did end up buying it. It's a Forman ES, which stands for electric shift. It's a 1998 electric shift program. So down there behind the drive shaft cover, you can kind of see there's some wires going in and an electric motor sticking out the front of the engine. That's the motor that actuates the shifting, and you shift it up and down there. It does have a shifter lever that goes right on that shaft there if the electric shift breaks, which they do. And in fact, when I bought it, it was. What I also like about this, on the same type of note, is it has a backup rope pull right there, you can see. So I replaced the electric shift actuator in the battery. Last year I put tires on it because I got a flat and they were from 1998. I thought, well, I guess it's time. And it works great. It's a Honda. It leaks just a teensy bit of oil, but not enough to worry about. And again, Honda. So this thing will last forever. But the crazy thing about this is when I bought it, I didn't look how many miles it had on it. I just noticed what kind of shape it was in, so that's good enough. You know, I've ridden 4-wheelers to 4,000 and 5,000 miles. In work that I used to do, we used to put that amount of miles on in a couple of years. I mean, it was a lot of miles on 4-wheelers. So I wasn't worried about it. I was looking at it, and when I got it home, I was riding it around, and I noticed it said 152 miles on the odometer. I was like, oh, that must be the, the trip. So I pressed the trip, and it still said 152. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way. Well, now there is 470 miles, it looks like. Is that what it's saying? I believe so. The reflection's kind of, yeah, 470. So, I mean, I've put between 152 and 470, I've put those on. Somehow, I got the lowest mile 1998 Honda Forman ES in existence. It's not even broke in. It's, yeah. Anyway, I was astounded. I was just like, oh. So I maybe paid a little more than I wanted to at the time, but knowing that, I actually kind of stole it, in my opinion. So, yeah, so that's the story on that. I can't think of anything else. You know, if you have any questions about anything else, maybe I'll cover it in an upcoming episode of Beer Walk. But, you know, I probably won't do these super often, you know, because you can kind of follow along on what's happening. There's not a lot of changes in the shop, but periodically we'll do one of these, kind of update what's happening. So as you can see in the background, and I kind of glossed over a couple of things in the shop that'll be coming up next week that you'll be introduced to, maybe a sneak peek, but that'll do it. Thank you for joining me, and well, we'll see you next Tuesday.